How's it going, everyone? As you might have heard, Cooper Kupp is going to get traded this offseason, which brings up the question, where will he go? And really, where is a good option for him to go? There's two big issues with Cooper Kupp's contract and with him as a player that should be considered. The first one being the fact that he's old, right? He's up there in age, and he's been getting injured quite a few times in the last couple of seasons. So you have to take that into consideration. If you're a team looking at Cooper Kupp, you're only going to take him if he's going to add to your offense, but not someone who you're going to rely on. For example, the Steelers, one team to think of that people are mentioning, I don't think they're a good option for Cooper Kupp because they would be relying on him for all of their offense. And when he almost inevitably gets injured in the season, their offense will fully go away. So that's not a great option for Cooper Kupp. Another thing to keep in mind is cap hit. So the Bills are another team that people are mentioning as a possible stop for Cooper Kupp, but they're right now in the negatives going into 2025 with cap space. So they're going to have to clear up a lot of contracts, and an aging wide receiver who you can't really count on to play every single game or even the majority of games in a season, that's not a great combination. There are a few teams where I think he fits in perfectly. The first one being the Ravens. So Ravens, he'd probably be their third option on offense when they're looking at yardage and trying to get some touchdowns scored. So he's not going to be the centerpiece, right? And what that means for them is they can depend on other players to pick up the slack if he gets injured, which again, he probably will. He also has $30 million of a cap hit coming in, and the Ravens right now have $6 million in space, and they could easily clear out the rest of that $24 million in order to take on a player like Cooper Kupp. The second best option is the LA Chargers. For him, he's talked about how much he wants to stay in LA with the Rams. Well, look, the Chargers are also a team in LA. In fact, they play in the same stadium. Maybe Cooper Kupp can stay with them, and they have $60+ million in cap space. They also could use him as a wide receiver one, but if he steps back or gets an injury and can't really play at the same level after that, guess what? They have Ladd McConkey, a young, dynamic wide receiver who could step in and fill in some of the gap. Now, I think Cooper Kupp makes them a playoff favorite. I think he makes them a team that can go far in the playoffs, maybe go and win or get to an AFC championship. Without Cooper Kupp, at least as things stand, I don't think that's a possibility for them, but he gives them that boost. For me, the big issue with that fit is that if he does get injured, they would lose a lot of their offense. There's a few other teams that have been mentioned. One is the Cowboys. To me, the Cowboys are negative $2.8 million in cap space, and that's easily clearable, right? You could easily get the space if you're negative just under $3 million to take on the just under $30 million of a cap hit you're going to get from Cooper Kupp. However, Cooper Kupp would be working with a head coach who's never been a head coach before, and many people didn't really think was going to be a head coach this early in his career. So that's a big question for Cooper Kupp if he wants to go and deal with that. Also for the Rams, you're sending him to a team that you're probably going to be competing with for those last couple of playoff spots next season. So do they want to do that? It depends on what the compensation is. I think if he goes to the Cowboys, they're going to have to give an extra third or fourth round pick to win the Rams over. And the final team I'm going to mention is the Bengals. Now, the Bengals have more than $40 million. In fact, I think it's $46.5 million in cap space. That's a good amount of cap space, and you could take him on. Another thing to keep in mind is that with the Bengals, they don't have T. Higgins going to next season. Now, Joe Burrow has insisted time and time again that they're going to find a way to keep T. Higgins, but I don't know. I don't know if I buy it at this point. If they can't keep T. Higgins, Cooper Kupp becomes a great option for their team. Now, in the comments down below, say where you think Cooper Kupp's going to go. And also, don't forget to mention, where do you think is the best option for him as a player? Personally, as I mentioned before, I think it's the Ravens. I think he's going to go there and be a dynamic, amazing part of their offense, but not going to be fully relied on to get the ball moving down the field.